So first of all, I suppose I'll introduce our amazing speakers. We have 4 wonderful women here today, and we're going to talk about their incredible work and how they use their own skills and passions to bring other women into the movement and support other women's journeys in environmentalism. So first of all, we have Margarita Kalachi from Argentina. And Margarita is a choreographer, dancer, actress, and a performer dedicated to activism, individually and with environmental groups. She's done amazing work highlighting the damage being done to the environment in Argentina, and she's worked with many groups in her own creative style to bring the issues to the forefront. We also have Julia Barnes, based in Canada. Julia is an award-winning documentary filmmaker who directed Sea of Life and Bright Green Lies. She's now focusing her passion on opposing deep sea mining, a huge issue which not many people are aware of at this point. We also have the wonderful Mira La Bay from the Philippines. Mira founded an organization there to provide mutual aid to oppressed communities, campaigns for preventative and natural health care for women and children, conducts alternative education for women and children, plus fights plastic pollution, opposes mining, while pioneering organic farming and urban gardening projects. Mira has an amazing history in resistance work from the time she was 16 years of age, organizing under martial law. And then we have Namwaka Waluka from Zambia, another wonderful woman, a climate activist focused on organic farming, soil restoration, community tree planting, preventing malnutrition in her community, supporting families, and setting up the first children's play park in the west of her country. So 4 incredible women who are going to give us a very uplifting take on environmental activism and organizing as women. So I think now we'll go to our first speaker, who is Margarita Kalachi in Argentina. Margarita, are you ready to talk to us about your work and the current situation in Argentina?
I am. Thanks, Sue. Thanks. Okay. Of course, the English is not my mother tongue, so I will talk lentamente. I hope you understand me. It's an honor to be here with you women. It's a really huge honor, and in this important day, I think and I feel that it's the most important thing that we have to do. It's this: share our experiences to make bigger this movement. So I will talk first about Argentina, about what is happened, the issues in Argentina about the take care of Mother Earth. So yeah, as you know, in Argentina, since we are a colon, we have this stole the resources of everyone, and so now we are like that because of the death, no? As you know. So the same happened, of course, in Africa, in India, and in all Latin America. So I'm exactly in Mar del Plata, in the coast of Buenos Aires. I was born here, so I'm a native from the ocean. So my cause, my personal, as I feel, cause now is take care of the oceans, because our ocean, Argentina ocean, it's now it's they want to a Norway empress, Norway, the government from Norway, they want to put offshore extractivists from our coast. Is 300 meters from the coast, between 1 and 3,000 feet under the water in the talud. So the first step that they want to do, it's the exploration. So this is huge explosions that for sure it's gonna damage our ocean and all the species that are that are passing through there, because it's a very important zone for reproduction of many species. So if we don't stop that, it's gonna be a really huge problem. So I'm with a lot, hopefully a lot of activists from Argentina and from Mar del Plata especially. We are doing every week, every month, campaigns, manifestations. For example, today on the Mother Day, we'll be at the center of our city with a huge tower of petroleum representing, because I'm an artist, so we try to with the arts manifestate. We made a huge petroleum tower, and we were completed full of petroleum, and with sing signs, and we chant, and we sing, and we give many papers, and the television and the radio appear. So that's great. That's another problem in Argentina, that mass media, for sure, they try to hide this problem, or they manipulate the problems to make it literal, no? And also because of the alliance with the government, that the government now it's very in the line to pay the debt. For example, the petroleum extractivists in our city, for them is perfect. So they promise many works, as you know, in other countries in the third world. But for sure, the money gonna be for the same people always. So we are in a really huge struggle nowadays, but we're not gonna, I don't know the word, we're gonna continue. So this is in Mar del Plata. In Argentina, there's many different, extractivisms of petroleum with cianuro. You know, cianuro, it's a veneno, poison, it's poison, so the rivers are already contaminated. And the problem also is that the money and all this rich, it's taken and put it in another countries, no? So nowadays we are making a huge movement that the name is, it's Debt for Climate, and we are connecting Latin America with Europe, and also the global north with the global south. Yes, to make this deal, it's gonna be a movement that it's gonna appear very huge at the end of June, at the door around the G7. I don't know the word in English. You know, where the big the powerful from the world try to arrange how to manipulate our earth. So the activists from all around the world, we're gonna be there to say no and to ask for different ways. So this is the last thing that I'm involved. And now I want to talk about more me and my way, my path as an activist. As you present me, I'm a dancer teacher. I'm a performer. I'm a life drawing model, so I use my body, my expression a lot to express that I feel and that I need from my personal state. No, for that reason, I'm not presenting as an actress. I can be, but I feel that the difference, because being an actress and a performer, it's that the performer express her or his reality. It's not a personaje. It's not a so you really involve your body, your emotions, your mind to express whatever. You can do it alone, of course, or you can do it in a group. I did it many times alone from different causes. In Argentina, you know, the feminines, it's very strong. We fight many years from the abortion, the legally abortion, and yes, hopefully we got it. It's it has to be better, but it's in the way. So yes, the feminist movement in Argentina is very, very, very powerful. I'm proud of it. So yeah, I take part of many groups and coordinate performances. Some of them, many of them, involve the naked body. No, it's one of the how to say the symbols that I use for many reasons. Because I think the woman body as earth body, the vulnerable body of our earth, and female bodies are very, very powerful from that vulnerability. So for that reason, even if sometimes it's very hard to do it, because naked body move many fibers, very sensibility fibers.
Thanks, Margarita. Sorry, it's just we've gotten to 10 minutes, so we're going to have to move along. But thank you so much for talking about your work and the situation in Argentina. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Julia Barnes, who is a member of DGR, as I said, in Canada, and also an amazing award-winning filmmaker who has launched a campaign now against deep sea mining. So Julia is now going to talk to us a little more about deep sea mining, the repercussions of that, and also her work and how she helps mobilize and bring women into the movement. So Julia, over to you for 10 minutes.
All right, yeah, I'm going to jump right into speaking about deep sea mining. So the deep sea is the lowest layer of the ocean. It's located below 1,800 meters, but generally can go as deep as 3,000 to 5,000 meters. And there are as many, diverse landscapes and habitats in the deep sea as you might expect to find on land. There are three main habitats that they're planning on mining: hydrothermal vents, cobalt crusts, and abyssal plains regions of the ocean. And the region that companies are really gearing up towards mining right now is called the abyssal plains region, and they're planning on mining things called polymetallic nodules. So abyssal plains are these long, flat stretches of the ocean that are characterized by muddy and silty sediment and these rock-like formations called polymetallic nodules that can range in size from the size of pebbles to the size of potatoes. These nodules are often the only hard substrate that organisms can attach to in an otherwise very muddy and silty environment. So they're really key habitat. They can be home to 11,000-year-old sponges or 4,000-year-old corals attached to these polymetallic nodules. But they're also home to any number of the myriad of creatures who exist in the deep sea. Their breeding ground, they're something solid for all of these creatures to call home. And companies are interested in mining polymetallic nodules because they also contain minerals, metals that can be used in electric car batteries, just batteries in general, things like copper, nickel, cobalt, and manganese. These nodules are very porous. They're also home to really unique communities of microbes, which actually help pull carbon out of the surrounding seawater and sequester it into the sediment beneath them. So the deep sea is the largest active carbon sink on the planet, and it plays a really big role in the carbon cycle, and these nodules in particular play a role in that. They also help to exchange nutrients between the nodules themselves and the surrounding water, and control the pH, the acidity of the seawater around them. So they really regulate the conditions that make the deep sea livable for all of these other species. They're absolutely key to the functioning of these abyssal plains communities. And companies are planning on extracting them. So they're planning on deploying house-sized machines to scrape along the seafloor and extract these polymetallic nodules, as well as anything else that happens to be clinging to them, happens to be in their path. These machines will bring with them light pollution and noise pollution, and all these things that are really detrimental for life in the deep sea. They'll also stir up a lot of sediment down there, but they're planning on pumping the mined materials up through riser pipes to ships on the sea surface, where they will do some initial processing and be left with a lot of waste material, things like sediment and debris that came up with the nodules. There are some estimates that each mining vessel would release 2 to 6 million cubic feet of slurry into the ocean every single day. And that's just per one mining vessel. They're planning on pumping it down to the midwater zone in the ocean at some as yet undetermined depth, where they will be releasing plumes of sediment on an ongoing basis. This is fine particulate matter that gets into the gills of fish and damages their ability to breathe. And there are currents in the water column that will take this sediment much further than just the mining site. The area of the abyssal plains that these companies are intending to mine is called the Clarion Clipperton zone. It's located between Hawaii and Mexico. And if all of the mines that are being planned for this area go ahead, it will be the largest contiguous mining area on the planet. It would be as wide as the continental United States. So just this huge area of the ocean that they're planning on ripping up and polluting with these plumes of toxic sediment that is deadly to marine organisms. So this is a huge disaster that is being planned to be unleashed onto the ocean. It could start as soon as 2023 if everything goes according to plans of these companies. So with deep sea mining, I think we have a really unique opportunity because this is an industry that hasn't started yet. And it's something that people, I mean, when they hear about it, generally they're shocked and horrified, but so few people even know that deep sea mining is something that's being planned right now. So initially something that I did was put together a short film about deep sea mining. So I reached out to different organizations and people who I knew that were working on this, and interviewed people, activists and scientists who study the deep sea, and put together some footage with footage of the deep sea and illustrations of what deep sea mining might look like, and made a short video. It's called Deep Sea Mining. It's on YouTube, to talk about the risks that are involved with doing this, and try and draw people into activism, doing something about it. People can't fight an issue if they don't know that it's happening. And at the same time I was working on this video, I was also pulling together a small organization with some friends who are also biocentric and care a lot about this issue. So we've been working on various things, putting out articles to also show people what's happening with deep sea mining. But also we put in some comments on an environmental impact assessment from some company that is planning on doing some exploratory mining in the deep sea. And a few other groups also submitted comments. We ran through their environmental impact assessment and picked it apart, and they ended up adding 200 pages after all these comments came in, 200 pages to their assessment that was already 500 pages long. And we delayed their process by a couple of months by doing this. I don't know how effective things like that are, but it certainly had an impact on them. And other things, you know, people who I talk to who are working in deep sea mining always tell me to tell people to contact their politicians and tell them to support a moratorium on deep sea mining, which seems like the simplest, you know, trivial thing. But the International Seabed Authority, the organization that regulates deep sea mining, is made up of member states from 167 countries plus the EU. And it is by no means unanimous in terms of support for this. This is a very controversial issue. So the more we can sway people, representatives from different countries to you know, support a moratorium and not allow this to go ahead, it could potentially have an impact at the ISA level. The other thing we've been doing is organizing a demonstration, a protest for World Oceans Day, June 8th. So that's going to be coming up, and that will be in downtown Vancouver. But we absolutely encourage people to, you know, if they're passionate about this issue, organize a solidarity event where you are. Yeah, so that's what we've been working on. And I think in terms of, you know, being effective and creating change, the most important thing I've learned is like, join an organization, be part of a group. We're much more powerful when we work together than we are as individuals. Some really great organizations and great resistance is coming out of Pacific Islanders. So the Pacific Blue Line Statement is something that people can sign on to and support. Other good organizations are the Deep Sea Mining Campaign out of Australia, and Mining Watch Canada is doing really good work on this issue. And then our organization is called Deep Sea Defenders, and you can follow us and keep up to date on hopefully more opportunities to get involved. All right, thanks so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Julia. That was so informative. I don't know how you managed to pack it all into such a short time. And yeah, thank you so much for the amazing work you're doing. If I know Lisa Marie has been putting some links into the chat, but possibly if you have the link for Deep Sea Defenders as well, so people can get involved and hopefully help out, because you're doing amazing work. Thank you so much, Julia. So next we have Mira La Bay from the Philippines. Due to the time difference, we actually pre-recorded the interview with Mira. Mira is such a fascinating person with such a wealth and history of resistance work that we ran over a little bit in the interview, which was totally my fault. So we've had to cut it down a little bit to fit into the format of this event. It will, however, be published online afterwards in its entirety. So you will get to hear a little bit more about Mira's experience. And like I said, she has been an organizer since she was 16 years of age. She organized under martial law in the Philippines at that age. She's an incredibly courageous and just incredible woman and an inspiration. So if Julia has been nominated our tech person for this event, Julia is going to play that for us now. Thank you, Julia.
I started organizing unions. I was because at the age of 16 years old, I started to work after my high school, because we belong to a family that is poor, and to Manila. I'm from the province of Marinduque, and then the only universities and factories were sited in Metro Manila, the center of the Philippines. So at 16, I tried to work in semiconductor devices. So there, that is the time of my birth, 1977, after my graduation. So as a worker, we are only paid about $7.50 a day during those times, and unionism is not allowed. People were subject to what we call to follow the rules, and the military is always there. In the factory, the government had declared that electronics companies are vital industry. face, and therefore strikes and unionism are banned too. But we try to organize it because our salaries were small during those times, and the situation inside the factory is very agonizing because we just wear what we call the surgical mask that we have today, while the chemicals that we involve here are really affects our health, especially for those who are in the deep, the lead dipping of the what we call the integrated circuit that are now very used by computers and remote control. Every gadgets that we have at present, especially the computers and the cell phones. So at that time, I was then secretary of the union, and our union was not kept registered to the DOLE, or what we call Department of Labor and Employment. So we need to organize underground. That's the start of underground. So we had to lecture some of our co-workers about our rights, and we hold that our rights are being suppressed by the martial law because we are banned from organizing. But we need to do it because it's our future and our life relies much on our work. All the workers are being monitored by military, and even in my house where I live, surveillance was there. So I pick up all my things. Yeah, surveillance is always there. So people's assembly, like when we do a meeting, it's not allowed. So we need to do it secretly. So there was a time that when we organized, I need to do I need to do what we call the ODOP. The ODOP is one of our source of propaganda, or we can vandalize. Sorry for the word, but it is it. We need to vandalize, write it on the walls of the street. It's really a big problem because the people who are organizing, just doing their rights as human, were banned from doing it. You cannot speak about so you need to do it underground. Comparative today, it's really same situation because same situation, it becomes legal. During those times, it's martial time. It's legal there to do it and to control the people on their legal rights because they suppress it. Now it's been integrated into our constitution. Yeah, it becomes a norms, a legal paper that you cannot do. Anybody, especially when you question the government policies that you think it really affects the lives of the people, you are accused already as subversive. That is the one thing. No more hearing for it. They decide. There are many loopholes in that anti-terror law that most of us affect. So we are very careful in it because I experienced already being in jail for about 3 days. So it's really for women like me, it's very hard because the military can do something not good to yourself. Especially some of those who were caught were injected with what we call a truth serum, like that. So when we found them, we cannot identify who they are. There is an amnesia over them. It takes years for them to recognize what happened to them. I am only blessed to be, the word is blessed because in 3 days that I was detained, I was not able to do that because the arresting officer that gets me He knows me also because she was one of my students during my genuine trade unionism teachings. And she said, oh, I will spare you. Another issue is the mining issues. When we do a campaign on the issue of mining, many women also were being harassed by the military. Because the government's policy is to open again the mining. Some of the mining here are being banned or been closed, especially in Marinduque, it's been closed, and there are issues that they want to open it again. So we are watching it very carefully because in the past it really affects our life so much. Many children got sick, cancer, that's it. So it's no difference. The only thing is that today it's been legal. Anybody they suspect that they are anti-government, they can get it already without any due process. And they said, oh, you violated, there is a rules. So we're very careful in it. Even me, I'm very careful. So I don't join some of the what they call a protest from the government. We do it differently, direct action. In my subject philosophy, I always share to my students that we are the women and the youngster students must be aware of our environment, and the climate change is going fast, and we are all of us will be affected. So it's an activity in my class to join a mountain and planting trees, and then we conduct seminars regarding it. And then we organize also the what we call active crusaders, a group of students who are supporting community development. So we do it through researches. So when we do organize a community, we also because there is a subject of immersion in our class. So I try to immerse the students to the community, and I teach them how to organize it with the use of research, like doing surveys, what are the problems of the people in that community, and that is what we do. And then when I go out into the community at Saturday and Sundays, I have a group again with the Kamustaka, always do the mutual aid. So we do a mutual aid, organize women about their livelihoods, like say livelihood transfer of skills, doormat making, a source of livelihood for those who are very poor, as an alternative income for fishermen, because there are times that fishermen can earn, especially when the waves are big and during the month of August to December. So there is no money for them. So we need to transform the women as source of alternative livelihood. Another one is we do food sharing to children. There is a project also accompanied with I teach children in the community, the 2 to 6 years old children, learning to facilitating them to write and read as a starter. But it's different, it's an alternative. And then we share them foods, and then we teach them how to be independent. I started
Thank you so much, Julia, for playing that. And thank you so much to Marenfa for taking the time and for sharing all that experience with us. Just to give some context as well around the legislation that was mentioned in the interview, what Mira was comparing organising under martial law to the recent anti-terrorism legislation that was enacted in the Philippines and how that has put activists under so much threat and so much risk, who are community organizers, environmental organizers. It's put them under incredible threat. So that was the legislation that she was referencing in that interview. So thank you again to Mira. She's also doing amazing work on plastic pollution and lots of other areas as well in her community. So next we will go on to Namwaka Waluka, who is in Zambia. Namwaka is a climate activist focused on organic farming, soil restoration, and community tree planting. Namwaka, are you with us? I think we lost you for a minute and I think you are back. Hopefully your line is okay. Are you there? Ah, we have you. Oh, okay, we have some feedback. Now, can you hear us, Namwaka?
Yes, I can hear you.
Ah, perfect. Okay, over to you then for 10 minutes. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Well, my name is Namwaka Waluka. I live in Zambia, in the western part of Zambia. I think it's the less developed province in Zambia. And we have sandy soil here, lots and lots of sandy soil. So we are experiencing so much deforestation here. There's too much cutting down of trees, and because we are in a rural place, the villagers they cut down the trees to make some charcoal, to burn some charcoal to sell, more like as a source of income. So we are having a challenge with the cutting down of trees. Henceforth, there is less rainfall that we receive because there's so much cutting down of trees. So the trees are becoming extinct. In fact, the native trees are extinct. So we are in trouble, and we are just hoping that by letting the communities aware, making them aware about tree planting and taking care of the trees, we can achieve a good forest maybe in 20 years' time. We are experiencing a lot of droughts here, and mind you, there's a lot of sand. So there's too many places that have not been receiving rainfall for the past 6 to 10 years. So there has been starvation, there has been so much malnutrition here, and we are just trying to help make the soil fertile by introducing organic farming to the villagers, because the villagers they do not have a lot of knowledge with the. In fact, actually, I can say the villagers don't have much knowledge about what happens when they cut down trees. So we are educating them by calling them, or we visit them with a certain group of ladies. We teach them the importance of trees and how they should nurture them, they should care for them. And we are encouraging them to plant more native trees, because they are good, they are better than the other types of trees, because they can do well in sandy soil. And we are also experiencing a lot of soil erosion. So we are also trying to improve, to stop the soil erosion by planting a lot of trees, a lot of native trees, and by involving each and everyone. We do not want to leave anyone behind. We are also involving the children. Sometimes we go in schools, we teach the children the importance of trees and why they should love them and how they can take care of them. So everything that we plant it organically from seed. We try by all means to encourage each and every household to have 2 or 3 fruit trees, because we want to improve the nutrition value in the food that they eat, because mostly the staple food for Western Province, or rather for Zambia, is cornmeal, and cornmeal isn't very nutritive. So we try by all means to encourage every household to plant vegetables organically, of course, to take care of nature, not to throw plastics around, and as much as possible, not to cut down trees. So we have managed to convince quite a good number of communities that are now practicing organic farming, and they are reaping the fruits, because there were so many before, when they were using these conventional medicines to spray their vegetables, there were so many headaches. But now there were so many stomach aches and a lot of complicated health issues. But now we are experiencing good health from the villagers and the other communities that have learned to use organic methods of farming. And we have planted a lot of trees. We have planted more than 200 trees, and we have given away more than 500 trees, fruit trees, especially lemons, guavas, mangoes, and oranges. And we are still giving away more. And we here at the nursery, we have more than 1,000 tree saplings that we are going to share with the communities and schools. And right now, my project is a kids play park, where we'll be focusing on the kids, because in Africa, a lot of children are taught to they are taught to cut down trees anyhow, but we want to reverse that. We want to give them knowledge to use when as they grow up, they should respect a tree, rather respect Mother Nature. And as they grow, they are going to know that we cannot just cut down the trees anyhow, because trees give us life. So as we focus more on the children, because the minds of an adult person has already been contaminated, we just want to try and start with the children, because once we educate the children, it means we are educating our future leaders. Henceforth, there'll be less cutting down of trees, and we are going to, the children, they're going to reap the benefits of not cutting down the trees. As they grow, they are going to appreciate what Mother Nature is going to give to them as they appreciate Mother Nature. So we are hoping that as soon as we open the kids play park, we are going to teach them how to plant. As they plant, as well, they plant their trees and all the other plants like vegetables from seed, they are going to enjoy to seeing their plants growing. So we are hoping that by the end of this year, we'll have a report to give back to you guys, and just to share with you the progress. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Namwaka. An absolute joy, as always, to listen to you talk about your projects and the amazing work that you're doing there in Zambia. Thank you so much. We have a little bit of feedback there. So that is all of our speakers. I'm wondering, Lisa Marie, would you like to say anything else before we wrap up, or is...
I just want to say thank you. I think it's always a monumental task to pull fantastic women together from around the world, and you've done it. And I just want to say a huge thanks to everybody who's participated, and those of you who's joined us, attendees as well. Philia moving into this area, sort of the environment and feminism, is very new, and it's thanks to Sue and Salonika and Sunniva who've joined Philia and said, actually, we want to make this happen. We want to amplify the voices of women who are at the forefront of environmental activism. And this is a brilliant start. And just thank you to everybody. And please, let's make sure we all keep in touch. I really do. Namwaka, you said about sending an update. Let's keep in touch now. This is a new connection for all of us. So please, let's keep speaking to each other. Let's keep hearing about the wonderful work that you're doing. And let's hear from you again. If at all possible, that would be just wonderful. Let's try and get you to a Philia event at some point as well. And just lots of love to everybody. And Sue, the last word's definitely over to you, because you're the wonderful woman who's brought all of this together. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Lisa Marie, for the opportunity. And also to, like you said, Salonika and Sunniva, who are part of the environmental team, who were there before me doing amazing work, I have to add. Also to Josie and Julia and Mara for all the tech help, because certainly if it was down to me, or probably you, Lisa Marie, we'd be in trouble. And yeah, amazing thanks to all the attendees for being here and for listening. And then I'd like to just finish with a quote from the amazing Vandana Shiva. We are either going to have a future where women lead the way to make peace with the earth, or we are not going to have a human future at all. So just to say thank you to our amazing speakers who have just given us a tiny glimpse of the work that's being done all over the world by incredible women with bravery and spirit and love. So yeah, let's all support them and be them. And we have 10 minutes left, so I would advise everyone to go out and just be in nature and soak it up and have a good bit of me time with the natural world for even 10 minutes today on Earth Day. So thank you all so much. Lots of love to everyone, and thanks again, Lisa Marie.